Hello and welcome. I'm Master Lama Rasaji, and this is our Friday Shangri-La version of Rasaji Speaks. Well, today, remember, there won't be a live training. It's a good chance for you to go through training and take advantage of 12 to 16 months worth of lessons. That's right, 12 to 16 months worth of lessons on live training or PFL, right? Of course, if you're a teacher, there is amazing amount of recorded audio. Doesn't benefit you if you don't review something, and you won't own the material unless you watch something at least 5 or more times. We are up here getting ready for our morning class at 10 o'clock in Nashville to kick off the full fledged of the ninth Ascension Tour. Our host, Dr. Preston Wakefield, and his sidekick, Terry Wilson, they're doing a phenomenal job. Wish you all could be here. Of course, you could. There's not too late to sign up. A few more spots, from what I understand, on live streaming tomorrow. You don't want to miss that. Master David's music and all of his students is going to be beautiful. So, anyhow, today's lesson is very pertinent, right? Cosmic connections, finding the meaning of Mercury retrograde's influence, or what the Lamasery calls the end cycles. So let's look at what they say about that. Well, according to Google, Mercury retrograde is an optical illusion. Mercury appears to be moving backwards from the view of the Earth. Very, very interesting. Astrologers believe that during this time, technology and communication can get disrupted. Boy, is that ever an understatement. Putting a damper on everyone's mood, increasing some people's negative emotions, such as anger, anxiety, resentment, and sadness. So, this can lead to everything from emails getting lost, from travel disruption, like in airlines and cars, shifts in friendships, people falling out of relationships, miscommunications, misunderstanding, an acceleration in brain fog, anxiety, and even headaches. Wow. Well, what's really going on is your inside gets turned outside. Your inside gets turned outside biologically, psychologically, and emotionally. In other words, everybody becomes your mirror during the end cycle. It's kind of like going to a nice Irish pub. Maybe you have two or three too many black and tans, and your tongue starts to waggle like this, right? Or Lamaji got you on a Zoom, or maybe I'm having my 15 minutes with you in Nashville and other tours, and you get hit with Shaktipat. Whatever you're trying to hold on to comes out. The end cycle, it seems to be a little bit easier. They're pushing out the emotions like pushing out the last little bit of toothpaste at the bottom of that toothpaste tube, right? Ever been there? Know anybody that's going through this? Also, the driving gets creative. People look at the circle of the steering wheel and say, maybe I should drive this way and maybe I should drive this way. And they're cutting people off 2 and 3 lanes over, right? Grounding has a tendency to get uprooted. Also, on a biological level, and we're seeing this with even some of our members, is that childhood illnesses seem to come forward. But there's nothing more powerful than the double yin. You could make its case for a triple yin cycle. How does that apply? When we're about 14 days interaction of the winter solstice, 21st, 22nd of December, 14 days before, 14 days after, which would carry us into early January. That means that there is a lunar influence not only on the moon, but there's a lunar influence on the sun itself, which, as we know, is yang. Same is true in the North American continent in the summer solstice. That's how we have a double yang. But the animal zodiac, we're moving out of the dragon, which was a more yang cycle. So a lot of people felt that triple or double yang in July when we were in Grand Rapids, right? But now we're coming out of Nashville, we're going into before the Advent season, and we could make a case because we're leaving the yang dragon going into the yin snake that we could be moving into a triple yin cycle. So you're already seeing evidence of people canceling appointments. You're seeing evidence of that creative driving. The bubblegum machines of 911 first responders going like crazy. People cutting people off in traffic, getting behind you, beeping the horn, when all they could do is just go around you. People are wearing their hearts on their sleeve. That's what happens in Mercury retrograde in the yin cycle. Now, it's about 21 days, the cycle, but they have what they call the shadow of retrograde, which happens 21 days before. So it's about a 6-week period. But this cycle is so strong. Lamasery has seen it already weeks before. Some of you might also know it. The more spiritually awakened you are, it seems to always come in early and leave early. For the more unconsciousness, they're impacted between the shadow and between the actual retrograde 21 days itself. What happens like in a hospital during that time, or at a fire station, or at a precinct? Well, ask them what happens on a night of a full moon. You know, it's a 72-hour period, the day before the full moon, the day of, and the day after. And they will all tell you, especially doctors that have done residency where they're working these 12 to 16-hour shifts, especially if they were in a trauma unit. Man, what they've experienced, they could write some books about this stuff, right? But imagine it wasn't a 72-hour period. Imagine that it was 21 to 42 days, because at 42 days, we're talking the shadow and the direct. Some are going to get hit in the shadow. Excuse me, some are going to get hit. But for 3 to 6 weeks, a full moon every night. Wow, wow, wow. Yin means to go within. So it's offset by spending time in a beautiful area like this, a little bit more time in meditation, a little bit more time with fire, a little bit more time with water, doing our Tai Chi Gong a little bit more than we normally do. Be careful of being around highly strung unconsciousness family members and unconscious people themselves because they're frazzled. Oh, I forgot. One of the things that makes this time period so challenging is the holidays. And it normally we have to be around family members, you see? And because of that, it's a little bit more challenge. So do that extra Tai Chi Gong when you get together on Thanksgiving this year. And Lord knows Christmas and Christmas Eve, do it too. We'll start the early spiritual people, we'll start to actually feel relief in the middle of Advent, the unconscious in the middle of January. That's how long she's luring. And Lamaji has been watching her for 7 to 14 days already. That is Mercury retrograde. That, my brothers and sisters of Tai Chi Gong, is the yin cycle. Of course, if you're fortunate enough to be in today's class, which, by the way, is free at 10 a.m. in Nashville at the Hyatt, Lamaji and Master David and all of our team will be there with another 45 to 55 wonderful souls that are coming together to raise consciousness and to get grounded in the strongest yin cycle of the year. That's right, the strongest yin cycle of the year. For those of you that are smart enough to jump on live streaming, so that you can also get plugged into the Shakti pot, incredible energy, it's maybe a good time to consider that. Baraka Bashai, may the blessings be to you and your glorious family. Look forward to being with all you folks. Next week, we'll be back on track for live PFL and for a live training on Friday. Shangri-La. God bless. Love you much. See you soon.